Hello everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Destiny video. Today Fantasy Flight revealed a few more cards from across the galaxy. These are all vehicle and vehicle upgrade cards mostly, and cards and events that work off of vehicles. So first up here, we have the Firespray 31, yellow villain support vehicle, 4 resources, 2 range damage, plus 3 range damage, 3 indirect, 4 indirect for a resource, disrupt and blank, and as a power action, you can play a mod from your hand on the support if able, decreasing its cost by 2. So every round, you're going to be able to get a 2 cost reduction basically on your vehicle upgrades, which could be pretty good. So we have 4 damage sides here. So we have 2 base sides and 2 that are either modified or resource costed. But the power action is pretty cool, so you can play a support on it. Essentially, if it's a 2 cost support, for free. And there is a support we're going to look at a little bit later that costs 2. So if you plan on using the power action on the Firespray, you get it out for free. And then it also allows you to activate the support that it's on. So we'll talk about that upgrade a little bit further into the video. But that is the Firespray 31. We're going to move into our next card. And next up we have Biggs Darklighter, Rebellion Ace, 9 health, either 9 or 12 points. So again, we get that 1-to-1 health to point ratio. 2 range damage plus 2 range damage, 1 indirect, disrupt, resource, and blank, and he's a pilot character. After you activate this character, you may activate one of your vehicle supports, then reroll any number of that vehicle support and mod dice. So, let's say you load up a vehicle with a few different upgrades. You roll in Biggs, and then you get to then roll in that vehicle, and then re-roll those vehicles' dice if you want to. So maybe if you were to do something to where you could somehow get another action off of this, like let's say like hit and run, like you hit and run Biggs, roll in the vehicle, re-roll the dice, and then use the ambush action from hit and run to potentially resolve damage or something like that. So that would work really well with Biggs, where you get to roll him in, you get to roll in your vehicle, and resolve it. And I like that he's got that 1-to-1 health to point ratio again. 9 health, so you can run even if you just run him at a single die, you're kind of using him to get that ability to also activate another vehicle. So even if you just run him at a single die, he's still going to be pretty useful with that. The only thing I don't like is the 1 indirect damage. There's a couple cards that were revealed. I think it was one of the Night Sister cards had a 1 indirect, and Biggs has a 1 indirect. I'm not sure if because one indirect is kind of not great because your opponent is basically just going to assign it wherever. So indirect has always been usually a little bit higher than normal damage sides because your opponent chooses how to distribute that damage. But Biggs could be interesting especially in a vehicle deck. So you're gonna again roll him out, roll in a vehicle. Potentially, if you are able to ready him again, you can then roll in another vehicle. So if you do something that lets you leadership someone else and then reactivate Biggs, you'll be able to activate another vehicle and re-roll those dice. So that is Biggs Darklighter. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have Outgun, 0 resources, red hero event. Spawn any number of mods on your vehicles and spend that many resources to remove that many dice. So let's say you're playing like a huge vehicle deck. You got let's say 3 vehicles out. They have, let's say, 1 mod each. So you have 3 mods. You then spend 3 resources to remove 3 dice. So it's a 1-to-1, 1 resource to remove 1 die. You're probably going to need this in a deck that's going to generate enough resources to make it worth it. But if you're doing that, you can run, again, 2 copies of this and potentially remove a bunch of dice by using this. I think it's a pretty decent ratio, so it's 1 resource per die, and it's based on how many mods are on your vehicle. So you basically just count up your mods, spend that many resources to remove that many dice. So I think that could be good. You are gonna, again, it could potentially be a high cost depending on how many dice you want to remove and how many mods you have. They're all kind of dependent on each other. So if you only have 1 mod, you're only going to be able to remove 1 die at the cost of 1 resource. So it does become more expensive the more mods you have, but also then at the same time, you're also removing more dice. So that is Outgun. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have BB-8. One resource, Red Hero Support Droid, legendary. Focus, 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 shield, resource plus one resource, so no blanks. As an action, spot a vehicle support to attach this card to it as a mod upgrade. Discard all upgrades on this card. If that vehicle is black 1, ready it. Use this action only once per game. So, no blanks is good. 3 focus sides is pretty good as well. The action to basically attach him to a vehicle is pretty interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this being legendary, even without any blanks. Again, 3 focus sides is really strong, and the ability to, if you use it with black 1, you get to ready that vehicle. So you can like roll in black 1, do damage with it, because we will be getting to the new black 1 right after BB-8. So there's black 1 from Awakenings, and then a new black 1 from Across the Galaxy. So you can attach BB-8 to either of those black 1 cards, and then if you do that, it readies it. So potentially roll in black 1, excuse me, roll it in, resolve it, then use BB-8's action to put him in black 1 basically, and then ready black 1. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about it being legendary. It doesn't have any blanks, which is good, so that's probably part of it. Being able to work it with black 1 is good as well. I think this would probably be better off in a rare, maybe give it a blank and have it be rare. I'm not really sure. There are a lot of droids that were kind of revealed today. So I think if people are running EMP grenades, I don't think they're running them now. But if basically you can just like blow up BB-8 with an EMP grenade, or blow up any of these other droid cards. There's a lot of droid cards that don't have dice that are just, they go onto the vehicle and they do something. But people may run EMP grenades if cards like BB-8 or these other droids become, like somehow get into the meta. Those EMP grenades will probably start seeing play. Granted, they won't be standard legal for that much longer because they'll rotate whenever the set after Across the Galaxy comes out. So maybe January or February, if we're going off how the sets were released this year, it'll be a few months after for those EMP grenades to still be legal. But BB-8, you can only use this action once per game. I think the action is pretty strong because you just attach it, and then if it's on black 1, you can ready it. But again, not sure how I feel about this being legendary. We'll just have to wait and see. But that is BB-8. We're going to move into our next card. And next up, we have black 1. So red hero vehicle support, 2 resources, 1 range damage, 2 range damage, 1 indirect, shield, special, blank. As a power action, you can spot Poe Dameron to turn this die to any side. So either Awakenings Poe or 2-player game Poe will be able to use this. And the special, deal 1 damage to a character. If a droid is attached to this support, re-roll this die instead of removing it. So it has a lot of similarities to the original black 1. Like the special is deal 1 damage and then re-roll it. This one is it deals 1 damage and then you have to have a droid to get that re-roll ability off of it. This new black 1 actually has more damage sides, so it has, I think black 1, the original, had 3, including the special. So it had the 2 range sides and then the special. And this one has 2 range sides, an indirect, and the special. So it's got 4 damage sides instead of just the 3. The range damage sides on this one are reduced from what black 1 used to be. I think the original black 1 was like a 2 and a 3 in the special. Also, this black 1 is 2 resources less than the original. So this could be interesting, again, especially with BB-8. Let's say you roll it out, you do damage with it. Let's say you do the 2 range. You then use BB-8's action, attach it to black 1, and then ready black 1 and potentially roll it out again. And then if you get the special, it lets you do 1 damage and re-roll it if a droid is on board. I don't know if you can have multiple droids per ship. I believe the upgrades for vehicle supports are going to be the same for characters, or we're going to be able to have 3 upgrades on them at most at a time. So I don't know if you can attach 1 other droid to this, roll it in, resolve it, potentially re-roll it with a special, and then let's say you roll it again, resolve the 2 damage, the 2 range, you then attach BB-8. Because thematically, there's only usually 1 slot that the droids go into behind the cockpit. So I don't know if they're only going to allow 1 droid per ship or anything like that. So you can maybe potentially stack droids on this. At least have 1 of the common, not dice side astromechs on here, which we're going to get to those later in the video. And then later put BB-8 on there to be able to ready it again. But that is black 1. We're going to move into our next card. All right, and next up we have the R2 Astromech, 0 resources, red hero upgrade support, droid mod, and it only goes on vehicle, so modify vehicle support, play this upgrade only on a vehicle support. As an action, you can exhaust this upgrade and spend 2 resources to ready the attached vehicle. So, goes on for free, and then if you have resources, you can roll it out, resolve it, and then exhaust this, spend 2 resources, and ready the vehicle. So that would work really well with black 1. So you throw this on black 1 initially, roll it out, resolve black 1. If you roll the special, you would have this droid on there, which would let you re-roll the die if you resolve the special. And then if you have extra resources, you can then spend those resources to ready black 1, roll it out again potentially, and then later in the round, if you don't have any more resources to ready it with the R2 Astromech, you can just attach BB-8 to black 1 and ready it again. So 2 resources to ready the vehicle seems really strong, especially if you have like a vehicle that has a lot of damage potential on it. So like New Millennium Falcon or any of the Millennium Falcons, basically, you can throw this on there, roll out the Falcon, resolve it, spend 2 resources, and roll it out and ready the vehicle and roll it out again later. So that is the R2 Astromech. We're going to move into our next card. And next up we have the Shadowcaster. 4 resources, support vehicle, yellow neutral, legendary. 3 range damage for a resource, 6 range damage for a resource, 4 indirect damage for a resource, 5 indirect damage for 2 resources. And from what I've been reading, the side that is obscured by the die is a disrupt, and there may be a blank. We don't really know yet. But support vehicle, and the ability here, decrease the resource cost of each side of this die by 1 for each mod on this support. So you're going to attach mods to this, and then each of those resource sides will be reduced by that many resources depending on how many mods you have. So if you have 1 mod, you're going to, the 3 range damage and the 4 indirect damage will basically just become base sides. You won't need to pay to resolve them. And let's say then the 5 indirect will become a 5 indirect for 1 resource. The 6 indirect will become 6 indirect for 2 resources. So the more upgrades you have on this, the stronger it will become. Granted, that'll mean it'll probably, if you have a bunch of resources or a bunch of mods on here, it'll probably become really ripe for removal. So they're going to be like, okay, well, he's got a bunch of mods on there, and he just rolled 6 range damage. We're going to remove that die to basically not take 6 damage directly. But 4 resources, I think, is a good cost for this because there are some 0 cost upgrades you can throw on here, which would reduce those sides and not cost you any additional resources because you're playing them for 0 resources. But really strong damage here, so at least 4 damage sides, and potentially, like people have said, the side on the top of the die is a disrupt, and potentially a blank, but 4 really strong damage sides that can be reduced depending on how many upgrades you have on the vehicle. So that is the Shadowcaster. We're going to move into our next card. And next up we have the Arccaster, 2 resources. This is a yellow neutral upgrade weapon mod. 1 range damage plus 2 range damage, 3 indirect, disrupt, shield, blank. Can only go on vehicle supports. After you play this upgrade, you may activate the attached support, then you may reroll a die. So you play it on, let's say you play it on, I was saying with the Fire Spray, you can power action this onto the Fire Spray for free, because the Fire Spray action reduces the cost of the upgrade by 2. So this goes on for free. You then get to activate the Fire Spray with the Arccaster, and then re-roll one of those dice. So let's say you roll a blank on the Fire Spray, you can re-roll the Fire Spray. Roll the blank on the Arccaster, you can re-roll that. And again, this will also, if you play this on the Shadowcaster, it will reduce the Shadowcaster by 1 for whatever its resource sides are. So its pay sides will be reduced by 1, and then you will have potentially either range damage or indirect damage that you could add on to that. So you can potentially get a bunch of damage off of this. If you happen to roll the range damage, like let's say you roll the base damage on the Shadowcaster and then +2 on this, it's going to reduce that side on the Shadowcaster by 1 resource. So you'll be able to resolve like potentially 5 damage right away for free because you'll have the Arccaster on there, which will trigger Shadowcaster's ability. So 3 damage sides on the Arccaster. We have 1 modified side. And I like the potential rollout with this. So you can roll out the vehicle, and then you get to re-roll one of the dice that are attached to that vehicle. So either the vehicle itself, other weapon cards, or other upgrades on that ship, as well as potentially re-rolling the Arccaster itself. So that is the Arccaster. We're going to move into our next card. And the final card today is the Targeting Astromech. 1 resource, neutral gray upgrade droid mod. Modify vehicle support only, can only go on vehicles. And as an action, exhaust this upgrade to turn the attached support die to any side. That's pretty strong. So you can pay 1 resource, attach this droid to it. Again, if you throw this on something like the Shadowcaster, you would also then Shadowcaster's resource cost asides get dropped by 1, and now you have the ability to exhaust this to flip one of those the Shadowcaster's dice to any side. Or if you throw it on any other vehicle, you'll be able to roll it out. Let's see, you roll blanks, you then exhaust the droid and flip the die. Really strong. I think it's like really well costed. So 1 resource to basically without, of course, if somebody doesn't, if your opponent doesn't play mitigation, potentially a guaranteed side that you want to be able to resolve if you can resolve it. So let's say you really need damage, you roll out your vehicle, you blank out, or you don't roll damage, you exhaust the targeting astromech and flip the die to whatever side you need. So if you need damage, you flip it to that. If you need resources, you flip it to that, and so on. Neutral, so it'll work with Black 1. So you can potentially roll this out, blank out on Black 1, use the droid, exhaust it, flip Black onto its special, later resolve the special, and then since you have the targeting astromech on there, you'll be able to re-roll the Black 1 die. So targeting astromech seems pretty cool. That is the final card for today. We're getting closer and closer to the Across the Galaxy release, so we'll have more and more spoiler videos coming up. Again, that's going to do it for now. I want to remind everyone to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and take care.